Hey everyone, this is Amy Brooks of the Intuitive Rising, and I am an evidential psychic medium as well as an intuitive mentor and a podcast host. And one of the most common questions that I kind of see out and about in, the internet land, as well as one of the most common questions that I'm asked by people is, what is the difference between being a psychic and a medium? Are they the same thing? Can I use them interchangeably? And certainly I have seen the word be used interchangeably quite often. And so I felt like it would be beneficial for me as a practicing professional psychic medium to give my opinion and my take on this. Again, this is my opinion and my take based on my years of experience. So being psychic and being a medium are two different things, in my opinion. Now, I am a medium who 100% definitely agrees that we all could be mediums. Whether or not we all will be mediums in this current lifetime, probably not, right? But I do believe that this is a human ability. I don't believe it's just certain chosen ones that can do it. I believe that, like anything, certain people are, skilled at certain things. It does not mean that somebody else couldn't do it. So for example, singing, we all have a singing voice. We all have the physical ability to sing. However, there's some people that are born with perfect pitch, don't need to take any singing lessons, are just amazing singers right off the bat. Some people have, a little bit of that skill and are, decent singers, and they want to become better singers so that they would train professionally at some level, practice, and they would, really increase that skill, build that skill until they became a much better singer. And I believe the same thing about mediumship. So I do believe that there are some people that are kind of naturally sensitive this way. I would be one of those people. So although I've only been doing this work for the last 4 or 5 years, looking back in hindsight, I can see that I've always been a medium. I've always been sensitive to the energy of people that are no longer in their physical bodies. But mediumship can be very, very subtle. So there have been many instances in which I just thought I was very highly imaginative. And mediumship sometimes is not this big, scary, creepy kind of thing. It never is, in my opinion. But for me, I see energy with my mind's eye. So I'm not seeing physically with my eyeballs. Although there have been times that I have, kind of seen impressions of the energies or shadows or things like that. But for the most part, when I sit down and I set my intent to connect to somebody in spirit, their energy, this comes in all as what we would call mental mediumship. And this is the type of mediumship that I would have experienced my whole life. And just never really took the time or, had the awareness to think, okay, this is more than imagination. This is actually spirit people. That took many, many years for me to kind of be aware of. And really my awareness came when my father passed away suddenly, which is a whole other story. And so we're talking about the differences between being a psychic and being a medium. So yes, I do believe that everybody could be a medium. Will they be? No. It would depend on if they have that awareness, they put those puzzle pieces together, if they are naturally sensitive to it, what their intention is, if they have a desire to do so. All of those things play a factor. But I do believe that anyone could be a medium to some degree. Now, what's the difference between that and being psychic? So I believe that everybody has psychic senses. Everybody is intuitive. Everybody can perceive energy. Anybody can kind of walk into a room for the most part. And again, there's levels of sensitivity, there's degrees to this, but for the most part, we've all experienced maybe walking into a room and going, yeah, like this, just some bad vibes in here, and feeling that in our physical bodies. or the sensation of something's going to happen and then it happens, right? Or I was just thinking of you and you just called me, or that you popped into my head and then I ran into you and I haven't even thought about you in 15 years. Things like this. These are very tied into our intuition and our psychic senses. It's like just like a sixth sense. So again, there's levels of sensitivity and awareness with psychic senses, but I do believe that we all have them. So the reason this question comes up for me at this point in time is because I have noticed that the word is often used interchangeably. And I feel that can give some confusion. So what happened was a client of mine reached out and had told me experience of somebody in her life. And so this person had been a little bit upset. And they had been looking for somebody to do a reading for them. And they didn't know that there was any difference between psychic readings and mediumship readings. And so they went to see, they found somebody that was calling themselves a psychic. So they went and, the reading was fine. Things that came up about, the person's life and things in the past and things in the future. And certainly those things came through and were validated. But this person was really looking for a connection to somebody in spirit for her. And that did not happen. And so she was a little bit confused and or upset, like, well, how come that didn't happen? Why does it come in for some people? Like she had said to her friend, why when you went to see Amy, did your loved one come through? But they didn't when I went to the psychic. Like, does that mean my loved one didn't want to talk to me? Like, what is that all about? And so I felt like it was something that we should talk about. So we've cleared the air. We understand that, in my opinion, I believe that we all have psychic senses. Again, some people are tuned in a little bit more and more sensitive to it, but it's there and we've all experienced it. And I also believe that we all could be mediums or like tap into the energy of our past loved one if we wanted to, and if, whether it came naturally to us or whether or not we pursued some sort of training in it, right? To build our skills and our sensitivity that way. But they still are different things. I feel if you think of like psychic senses kind of here, like the baseline, and then mediumship just like one level up. So I don't say level in the sense that somebody is, better than somebody else. I just mean it's an extra layer of perception. So you could go like this person that I'm speaking of to book a psychic reading. So if somebody is calling themselves a psychic, what that means is they are sensitive to the energy around, to living people, to situations, to future-based things, to past-based. They have the sixth sense and the ability to interpret, the energy and how they feel about you, a living person, or somebody else in your life. But that does not mean that they also intentionally connect to somebody that is in spirit. In my opinion, if somebody has the ability and wants to and sets the intent to also connect to somebody in spirit, they would call themselves a psychic medium. So I've heard many, many times over the years, there's every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. And that's essentially what that means. So it means if we have the extra layer of mediumship and being able to interpret the messages of people that are no longer in their physical bodies, we have to have that baseline, that kind of psychic sense in sensitivity baseline in order to build the mediumship skill. But if we're operating at the psychic level without setting the intention to tap in further, then we won't, because I truly believe that this work is based on intention. So I think that some of us are naturally called to this. And when we set our intention, this is what I would like, this is what I would want, that is what happens. That's a little bit about the differences between what a psychic and a medium is. It's not to say that you're not going to go to somebody and they call themselves a psychic and they also have the ability to connect with spirit. Sometimes it's just about language, and a lot of us will use the term psychic interchangeably. I see that a lot. I personally don't, because I do see the differences. So I call myself a psychic medium. So you are clear as somebody that would be reaching out to me. Okay, she's psychic, so she has the ability to tap into the energy of what's going on and can give me guidance and advice about those things. But the medium part also means that she can connect to my past loved one. So I'm just putting that out there to kind of give a little bit of differentiation so that you know what the difference is. And it's just a matter of being clear with the person that you want to read for you. So if you're looking for somebody to read for you and you are not open to connecting to anybody in spirit, and you really just want some guidance and advice, connect to somebody that calls themselves, identifies themselves as a psychic. And then you can also, take an extra step by saying, I don't know if you have the ability to also connect with loved ones, but I don't want to connect to anybody in spirit. I'm hoping just to connect to the energy of this situation. And usually, readers will have different options and different types of readings with very clear language, so you can really pick which one you would like. That being said, if you go to somebody that identifies as a psychic before you book, you could also reach out and say, hey, I'm really hoping for some life guidance, but also I would love to connect to my loved one in spirit. Is that an option? And kind of getting that information ahead of time, because those words can be interchangeably used, but they do have differences to it. So that is your spirit talk today. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. If you have any questions, let me know down below.